to the Morning Buzz. It's the Thursday edition here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. I did not just mess that up. Thanks for joining us for our 7th episode of the fall semester. We've got a new season of new stories, discussions, and realizations that will await you. Join this women trio plus an awesome male sports contributor for a great hour to start your day. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Kaya. No worries. We don't see your mistakes, Kaya. No, I'm kidding.
I know.
Good morning, everyone.
Do I get to redeem myself? 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair.
There you go.
Thank you.
See?
All right. We did it.
Love it.
Awesome.
Did you guys have a chance to watch the debate last night?
I only watched some of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that more later, do a little bit of fact-checking stuff. But guys, Flies, Screaming, and Tupac were trending on Twitter last night.
Oh, we saw it. And I think they are
Lies.
still trending right now, Kaya.
No, totally. So just to give you a little bit of a hint of what's to come.
Everyone's just talking about the fly part. That's really it.
I know, the fly that landed on Pence's head, but yeah, that's definitely one of our talking
Highlight
points
of
for
the
later.
debate last night.
Oh,
Mhm.
no. Tommy said it's the highlight, but we'll get much into that later on. But first, let's start off with our newscast.
All right, in local news, a New Jersey mailman identified as Nicholas Beauchamp has been charged with throwing away hundreds of pieces of mail, including close to 100 voting ballots. Luckily, investigators made copies as evidence, which are now being placed back in the delivery system. Beauchamp faces up to 5 years in prison. For national news, last night's vice president debate took place with Vice President Mike Pence and Democrat Kamala Harris's discussion leaning more towards the topic of COVID-19. The meeting heavily focused on how the virus is hitting the highest levels of the U.S. government. We'll be diving more into that later into the show. A peaceful protest took to the streets of Minneapolis to show outrage over the $1 million bail over David Kevin, a police officer charged with George Floyd's death. It was confirmed that he no longer is in custody from the city. According to a notice of appearance, the next court date is set for March 8th. In Mexico, Hurricane Delta swept across Cancun with top speeds reaching 110 miles per hour, toppling trees and cutting down power for residents. The storm weakened to a Category 1 after making landfall, but it's said to reach as high as a Category 3 by Friday when it's expected to hit Louisiana. There's been no deaths or injuries caused by the storm, government officials say, and it seems like the worst is over for the storm in Cancun. Today's weather is sunny with a high of 63 and a low of 44 with a 0% chance of rain. Today we will have 45% humidity, a sunset at 6:27 and a cool night. And that concludes the news update for October 8th.
Thank you, Mary, for that informative news update. We all need a little news in the morning, just to stay relevant. Talking about the weather, guys. Yesterday was kind of crazy because we had a warm day right in the beginning, nice and sunny. I walked out with my dog for 2 seconds before my Zoom class, and I was like, what is going on? And then later on, we had stormy weather, and especially in the Bergen County, I had a wind advisory alert and a hail alert at the same time. So that was kind of scary in a way. That was the first time I ever heard the news or any news channel mention New Milford and acknowledge my town. So that was pretty interesting, not for the rightest reasons. And yeah, it was kind of crazy yesterday. How was the weather for you guys up where you're living?
Honestly, Kaya, I couldn't even tell you because, since our lives are like fully remote over here, I don't really leave my room. All I see are these 4 walls, the ceiling, and the screen of my computer or my laptop. That's all I do. So I couldn't even tell you. However, I will say that yesterday I woke up super early and I didn't hear like rain, right? And then that's how I know if it's raining because I hear it, not even seeing it. And so later in the day, I did hear it rain. I was like, that's odd. Like I had like peeked through the window and it wasn't even like cloudy like that. So when it started to rain, I was like, wow, this is weird. But
yeah,
hey, we live in New Jersey, so nothing shocks me at this point.
It's all here. Yes. I just plugged in our old Montclair State logo. No, yeah, it was kind of crazy. The weather was so bipolar yesterday. So we had our general meeting yesterday at 4 p.m. and I look outside the window and I'm like, leaves are flying everywhere. The sky looks angry. I'm like, this is not fall. Fall's not angry.
Fall is colorful, right?
That's
That's
true.
how I think about fall.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to warm up to fall a little bit now. As I was walking with Ryan to the studio today, I have like my little poncho-ish sweater on, and
Cute.
I had my coffee in my hand, and Ryan has his tie mask on, and and we were just like walking, and I'm like, I really don't mind fall because of just how pretty the sun sets on the leaves, and just Ryan's like screaming in victory inside. So I'm actually starting to warm up to it. I don't know about you guys.
I have to agree. Slowly but surely. I'm a fall baby, so I have to. I have no other.
Oh,
But with that being said, everyone, we have Tommy back. He is back with
ayo.
this week's sports updates. Tommy, tell us what is going on in the world of sports.
How you guys doing today, by the way?
Hey, good.
All right, let's do it. So going with the NFL, we kick off with today's sportscast as Nick Foles and the Chicago Bears host Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Week 5 of Thursday Night Football tonight at 8:20 p.m. This is the second meeting between Brady's and Foles since Super Bowl 52. For the upcoming games on Sunday, the New York Jets host the Arizona Cardinals at 1 p.m., looking for their first win of the season, while the Philadelphia Eagles travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers at 1 p.m. Also for Sunday, the New York Jets are on the road as they look for their first win of the season against the Dallas Cowboys at 4:25 p.m. The Tennessee Titans and Buffalo Bills Week 5 meeting are still in jeopardy as there have been more positive COVID-19 cases from players of the Titans. No official announcement as of today. Going on to the MLB, the New York Yankees are on the brink of elimination as they lost Game 3 of their ALDS meeting last night to the Tampa Bay Rays 8-4 as they are now down 2-1 in the series. Game 4 takes place tonight at 7:10 p.m. as the Yankees look to force a Game 5 with a win, while the Rays look to close out the series. More playoff baseball continues today from 2:08 to 9:08 p.m. Breaking news last night, the Cincinnati Reds have announced yesterday that team president Dick Williams has stepped down to pursue personal interests outside of baseball. The team will look for a new president of operations, while Nick Krall remains as the Reds' executive vice president and general manager. Going on to the NBA, Game 5 of the NBA Finals takes place tomorrow at 9 o'clock p.m. The Lakers lead the series 3-1 as they look for their franchise's 17th championship and first in 10 years with a win tomorrow. The Lakers also plan to wear black Mamba jerseys for Game 5 as they are currently 4-0 this season when wearing the alternative uniforms. Going on to the MLS for the first time this semester. Last night, the New York Red Bulls lost to Inter Miami by a final score of 1-2. Meanwhile, the New York City FC defeated DC United last night with a final score of 4-1. And wrap it up with the NHL. In the second day of the NHL draft, the New York Rangers yesterday have traded Elias Anderson to the Los Angeles Kings in exchange for number 60 overall, which led to the Rangers drafting William Coyell. And to close out today's sportscast, Montreal Canadiens legend and former Ranger Guy Lafleur lung cancer has returned. The 69-year-old Hall of Famer will undergo immunotherapy and chemotherapy treatments according to his doctors. I wish him all the best of luck in battling and a safe recovery very soon. And that concludes your sportscast for today. Back to you, Kai and Crystal.
Thank you so much, Tommy. I know people think I just say this just to say it, but I actually like Tommy being on the show because I guess know what's happening in the sports world. I'm no fan, right? But it's good to know. So thank you, Tommy, so much for today's sportscast. But with that being said, Kaya.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
Of course, Tommy. Kaya, what holidays are we celebrating today? Huh? Tell us.
So actually one thing before we actually go into the sportscast, Tommy was talking about the New York Red Bulls and the football club, and I actually knew what he was talking about for once. Like, I actually do follow soccer in a way. Yeah. And I've always been a New York Red Bulls fan because it was always a tradition between me and my dad. We'd go to New Jersey and we'd go to the stadium and we'd watch live games. He bought season passes, and I'm kind of sad to hear that the Red Bulls lost this game. The football club and the Red Bulls are rivaling right now because they're like both New York based teams. So it's kind of interesting to see that the newer team is doing a lot better.
Wow. I am
OG
impressed,
team.
Kaya. Look at you knowing stuff about sports. Wow.
Right. So we're actually we're gonna come right back, and then I'll tell you guys a little bit of holidays and move on to our awesome stories, which includes election night also.
Houston, the Hawk has landed. This is one small step for
You said
man,
short break.
one giant leap for college radio.
You're listening to 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair, New Jersey.
And we're back. So here are the holidays for today. We got a bit of a mixed bag as usual.
You were right about short, Kaya.
Oh, wait, what'd you say?
I said you were right about it being a short break.
That was very short. So yeah, always got to play the moon landing station ID, you know, comply with FCC because we're cool. We're cool like that. Okay, so first we got a holiday in Peru. Hey, Peru. So the Battle of Agamos, if I mispronounce that, Crystal, please let me know if I mispronounced that. It's a naval battle fought on October 8th, 1879, during the War of the Pacific, which took place during 1879 and 1883. The war occurred over a dispute between Chile and Bolivia in possessing the Atacama Desert, a region rich in valuable minerals. In Croatia, they're celebrating Independence Day. Heyo! And internationally, we've got World Sight Day, which focuses on global attention on blindness and vision impairment. We also have a couple of weird holidays coming up as usual. We've got National Fluffernutter Day. So for you guys, I actually have no idea what a fluffernutter is, and this is the first time. I'm putting Ryan on because he's totally excited.
Ooh, what happened to Ryan? Ryan, tell us.
Yeah, so National Fluffernutter Day. I am very excited about this one because a fluffernutter, Kaya, I don't know I can't believe you've never heard of this. It's a peanut butter and marshmallow cream sandwich.
Never heard.
I grew up eating fluffernutters. I literally just wanted to come on and say that this is probably one of the best holidays that you have reported on. Because this is such a throwback for me.
No, and is it of American origin? Like, is this an American snack?
I'm pretty sure, like, marshmallow cream is an American snack. It sounds very American. It's just sugar, but turned into, like, a paste. It's incredible.
I have never heard of it. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Of, like, a toasty s'more. You know what I mean?
It's like a weird untoasted s'mores, and it's incredible. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say.
No, I saw the picture of it while I was doing my research, and I'm like, I could see myself eating this, on a sad night on my period, just watching a sad chick flick.
No. It's like the
nice
best
and
thing.
carby.
Nah, it's like the best middle school, like dad made you lunch kind of thing. Yeah.
Dad made you lunch.
National Fluffernutter Day. Anyways.
My dad can cook for life. But you know what, Ryan? I gotta tell you, I actually think that Pierogi Day beats that. You know, today we've got National Pierogi Day, and as your Polish enthusiast and contributor and correspondent for the WMSC station, it's National Pierogi Day, which is Polish dumplings famously filled with many things, such as mushrooms, sauerkraut, mixed meat, potatoes, and cheese, fruits, and some other Americanized options that I find debatable, in my opinion, not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm super excited because pierogies is literally what people think of when they think of the Polish culture, and it's nice that we have a day to celebrate that. The origins of pierogies are actually being disputed right now. Well, not right now, but they've always been disputed. There's just a bunch of myths that surround it. Some people say that it came from China and it was introduced from China to Poland. Some people say that there was actually this priest that actually introduced it to a town of villagers, because one of the neighbors had like an earache at one point, and they felt that pierogies could actually cure that, along with some Chinese herbs as well. So there's disputes, but it's mostly a Polish Polish meal. And let me just emphasize that Polish, not Russian, not Slavic, Polish. Okay, I'm done. Enthusiast. I find myself being a pretty biased correspondent. What do you guys think?
I love it because I get to know more about Polish things, so I'm here for it.
And our last holiday is American Touch Tag Day. Yes, I'm referring to our childhood game.
Oh, nice.
That's one of our last weird holidays for today.
Nice. I definitely have to say that the American Touch Tag Day is quite interesting. And I will say, Ryan, I said this before, but I did not know if you heard me, but I'm concerned for your health regarding this marshmallow with peanut butter. And I'm concerned for his health. That's all I gotta say.
You have nothing to be concerned about. It is delicious.
It's not like we're gonna go to McDonald's right after and just have an entire meal. No way.
Hey, I don't know. No, I'm kidding. But with that being said, there's many events going on at Montclair State University for its students, of course. Too many for us to read it over. But just make sure that if you'd like to get a little bit more involved at Montclair, Red Hawk News always sends out an email weekly that keeps you in the loop, tells you all the events that are going on, whether it be in person or through Zoom. There's many events happening through Zoom. So if you want to get a little bit involved, I just wanted to put it out there that you have that option to just they condense all the events that are happening across campus and on Zoom right there for you.
Just because we're in a pandemic does not mean that you don't get to have a college life and actually socialize and do other things besides stare into your computer screen on Zoom or just do homework or just complain about the fact that you have no social life. There's so many things that you can be doing, and check out some events. Montclair, they're always posting stuff on Engage. So yeah, do that.
Absolutely.
Y'all deserve it. Actually, we're going to move on to our first story, and this is the most prominent story, I think. We're talking about election night. We've teased it so many times in the beginning, so let's get to it. I think that one of the biggest topics, especially towards the end of news coverage, whether it was ABC News or NBC or other outlets, is fact-checking the candidates, right? And the claims that were both made by Harris and Pence. So let's get to it, shall we? So the first thing we're talking about is a topic of Russian investigation. Mike Pence claimed, quote, "It was found that there was no obstruction, no collusion, case closed. And then, Senator Harris, you and your colleagues in the Congress tried to impeach the President of the United States over a phone call," end quote. Mueller's nearly 450-page report and its core findings say otherwise. No sufficient evidence was found by the special counsel member in the first volume of the report. Mueller did not exonerate Trump, and the second volume reported incidents that Trump obstructed justice and took advantage of his privileges during his presidency. The investigators are not, quote, confident with the president's innocence. No final conclusion was made by Mueller on whether or not Trump knew of or pushed of Russia's alleged interference in the 2016 election. However, Russia's interference and meddling with American politics is a fact. And this is from my personal notes. I recommend that you guys watch the Operation Infection, a New York Times opinion documentary on Russia's powerful tactics to spread misinformation globally. And shout out to Professor Bedrin for introducing me to the documentary in our Ethics of Mass Communication class. Next topic is economy. Pence said, quote, "Joe Biden wants to go back to the economic surrender to China, that when we took office, half of our international trade deficit was with China alone. And Joe Biden wants to repeal all the tariffs that President Trump put into effect to fight for American jobs and American workers," end quote. The tariffs against China did cause the trade deficit in goods with China to fall in 2019. However, the U.S. economic growth slowed from 3% to 2.2%. The Trump administration has not decreased the overall trade imbalance. The Census Bureau said the trade deficit was $576.9 billion last year, nearly $100 billion higher than during the last year of Barack Obama's presidency. Coronavirus. Topic 3. Harris said, quote, "The president said it was a hoax," end quote. She was actually referring to the February 28th campaign rally in South Carolina, in which Trump said the phrases, the coronavirus and, quote, this is their new hoax, at separate points. He was rallying against Democrats for denouncing the administration's coronavirus response. When asked at a news conference the day after the rally to clarify his remarks, Trump said he was not referring to the coronavirus itself as a hoax. Environment. Pence said, quote, the both of you repeatedly committed to abolishing fossil fuel and banning fracking. President Trump has made clear we're going to continue to listen to the science, end quote. Harris has supported banning fracking, Biden hasn't, and Trump does not follow the science on climate change. At CNN Climate Change Town Hall for Democratic presidential candidates last year, Harris said, quote, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking, starting with what we can do from day one on public lands, end quote. Now, as Biden's running mate, she is bound to his agenda, which makes this a different case. Biden has an ambitious climate plan that seeks to reduce the use of fossil fuels. He says that he does not support banning hydraulic fracking or fracturing. However, he says that he doubts that such a ban is possible. Trump's public comments dismiss the science of climate change, as recently, last month, Trump said, quote, I don't think science knows, end quote, which is talking about regarding global warming and the resulting worsening of wildfires, hurricanes, and other natural disasters. He mocked the science in many public comments and tweets. His regulation cutting has eliminated key Obama-era efforts to reduce fossil fuel emissions. Healthcare. Pence said, quote, President Trump and I have a plan to improve healthcare and to protect pre-existing conditions for all Americans, end quote. Well, people with pre-existing conditions are protected by the Obama-era Affordable Care Act. If the Trump administration succeeds in persuading the Supreme Court to overturn it, these protections will be jeopardized. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order declaring the protection of people with pre-existing conditions, but Trump would have to go back to Congress to pass a legislation to replace those in Obamacare. And guys, these are only a few claims that were fact-checked by AP News writers with an amazing AP News article that I actually referred to in terms of this story. But this was definitely a theme within news coverage last night, as I mentioned before. And one thing that really stuck with me is when Karine Jean-Pierre, Chief of Staff to Senator Harris on ABC News, said it's not Harris's job to fact-check, that belongs to the mediator and media. What do we think about this?
So that's definitely a big topic. I feel like last time when we had the first presidential debate, it was definitely a topic we all spoke about in my class, and I think it was in our ethics class as well. And basically she said, like, it's kind of, I guess not black and white in terms of like what is the moderator's job, right? But nonetheless, I feel like this was definitely an improvement, I would say, or from the first debate. I feel like they definitely spoke their piece, whether or not it was like factual or not. They definitely, they spoke on like their plans, what they plan to do. So that was important. That was interesting.
No, yeah. I mean, I feel the complete same way. I felt like, as a college student that is starting to learn more about politics now, because I actually find that ignoring it and just like pushing it aside because of the political state we're in is not doing me any good. I actually felt like I learned a lot more last night than the presidential debate. And in my opinion, I feel like I would rather see Harris and Pence go at it again next week than Biden and Trump.
Right. But I do know that Biden had said that he doesn't want to have another presidential debate unless President Trump is clear of COVID-19, which of course makes sense. I can't hold him there.
No, yeah, plexiglass is not going to be of any use in that situation.
But yeah, some tweets that I saw yesterday that caught my attention. President Trump said, quote, Mike Pence won big. And then Biden said, you made us all proud tonight. He at Kamala Harris. So okay, Kaya, if I may ask, who do you think won yesterday's debate. I don't even know how do you even win a debate, but who do you think was, I guess the correct words would be like, who do you think had stronger plans, or who do you think was a strong candidate?
No, yeah. So I feel like they both had weaknesses in a way, especially, you know, like especially Pence, when he was talking about the racism inequality, right, and systemic racism in our nation, and also when he was talking about abortion and climate change, those were his weak points, and Harris definitely stole that and like made it into something that we wanted to hear, really is just being progressive on those topics. And you kind of have Pence halting a little bit and like being like, things are fine. And it's offensive that you are questioning our law enforcement. And I wanted to throw something at the TV when he said that. There are definitely points where Pence, especially with fracking, the ban of fracking, like he would mention stuff like that, or like taxes and stuff that kind of made Harris need to jump on that and further explain herself and kind of put her on the defense. Like there are definitely moments that happened. But personally, I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like Harris was, she kind of stole the show in a way, because she was addressing the viewers directly, right? I don't know, she kind of felt more on top of things. At the same time, Pence kept a very like polite and poised demeanor, but at the same time, he kept attacking the mediator. Actually, they both were, in a way. So, but in my opinion, with my beliefs and what I think are my values, I feel like I'm leaning towards Harris. But I think Pence, in a way, also did a good job trying to, trying to, try, like, I don't know, protect or make Trump's actions and irrational behavior somewhat reasonable and valid, And it's also important to note that Pence and Trump, they don't always agree on the same things too. But yeah, in my opinion, I think Harris stole the show. What do you think?
I feel like one thing that definitely bothered me about last night's debate was how, just I feel like because the first presidential debate was so like it was such like a chaos that they tried so hard to make sure they looked like calm and poised, and nothing bothers me. And like, all right, I get it, but this is a debate too, so it's like, all right, I need more energy from both of you. Like, come on, tell me your counterpoint. And of course, there is a lot of time, but for example, one of the things that kind of bothered me is that so yeah, there's an allotted time for you to answer the question, and once the time is up, let's move on to the next segment, which is the next topic. And I just felt like
they were using the time of their next question to reply on their question beforehand, which I thought was just on both parts was disrespectful. And like, I at that point, the topic was over, the mediator was like, next topic. I as a listener didn't want to hear what they had to say.
Not even that, but once the moderator was like, okay, time's up, I stopped listening. I cannot listen. Like, she already interrupted.
Thank you, Vice President. Right.
How do you even listen to what he's saying? Like, I feel like someone needs to, someone from their campaign, for both parties, need to let them know, like, hey, like once you start saying your time's up, the listeners can't actually hear what you're saying, right? Because you're so distracted by the fact that she's saying time's up. It's like you really can't hear it. So that's definitely something that I peeped from last night's debate. Other than that, I just felt like you're gonna hate me, Kaya, but I feel like Kamala, she was doing too much for me in terms of like
her facial expressions.
No, not yet. Oh my god, those have been going.
Oh, we got to talk about that
in memes, but let's hit that for just a second. No, but because she was just like, can I talk, like, lady?
Oh, no, yeah, can I speak? In the beginning, I thought that was really powerful because, yes, she was a Black woman on stage, right? And her entire life, she's been told to, she's been told to, like, I don't know, she was over spoken and just like, with
shut
people that
down.
are privileged in the, like in the room, right? She didn't have the voice, like the top voice, right? My words are not like coming into my brain right now, but Pence is a privileged white elite man, right? So he was always able to speak his mind and be taken seriously. And so I kind of thought it was really revolutionary to see her like take her stance and be like, well, it's actually my turn to answer the question, so stop interrupting me. But after a while it was getting annoying. It really was. And my mom kept saying, she was like, why is she being so spicy? She's such a like
Like
bee,
in a, yeah, like in a way,
rhymes with ditch.
in a way, it came off like no, I don't know if catty's the right word, but it was just like, can I talk? It's my turn to talk. Can you stop? Like, all right, girl, just talk. This is a debate, like clearly there will be some overlap, but just keep on going. Like, yes, say it once, maybe say it twice, and then that's it. But at the end of the day, this is a debate, so there is about to be some overlap. Just get over it and just keep on talking. And I feel like that it was so important to her and like both parties to just be like all poised and calm and collected because of like the chaos and the backlash that both parties received from the first debate. So that was definitely something interesting.
And I think also an important thing to point out is that the tweet, so just in terms of tweeting, right? Biden's tweet received a lot more likes and retweets, but Trump's tweet had over 40K more comments. How they worded their tweets probably has something to do with it.
I'm just gonna say, and I don't know.
Girls laughing. Oh, it's coming.
The girls are fighting. My friend has been saying this little phrase about the girls are fighting, and it's so funny to me. But in terms of like the reaction, so I have the numbers here, and given listeners, this is from last night because I did screenshot these last night. However, I'm sure they have updated by now.
All right.
But yes, Trump's tweet got over 27.3K thousand likes, and I think Biden's got double. And in terms of the comments, they said that Trump's had more. I'm gonna go ahead and say the way I know how Twitter is built, and I spend a lot of time on Twitter, which maybe I shouldn't say that aloud. But
that's fine.
I feel
you're
like
a media student.
I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess that those extra 1,000 or 40,000 comments were people saying something negative, because I could already see people because you wouldn't comment on a tweet and not like it unless you didn't agree with it or you didn't like it, you know what I mean? So this is just me coming off as a Twitter user and being someone my age, so yeah,
talking about our opinions, because that's what we do best on radio. We sit in front of a mic and we just talk about what we think, and hopefully you find it entertaining. But yeah, Camila Harris, she literally nailed it with her facial expressions. I think another awesome meme was that Black woman taking notes, watch out. Like, this woman was serious, don't mess with a Black woman taking notes, I thought that was hilarious. Also, her face is what 2020 would look like as a human being.
Yeah, there's a lot of face memes of her going around, and there's just this one tweet that I remember. Someone just literally wrote, they just put like the slang word for laughing really loud, and they just posted like a whole bunch of pictures from different moments of Kamala Harris's face expression, which I thought was so funny. And that tweet did get a lot of likes, a lot of comments, so it was definitely a funny moment. Another funny moment though, West won the fly was on Mike Pence's head. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was looking at this debate on my laptop and I didn't even see it. Honestly, if it weren't for social media, I would have not known that was going on.
I have a 30-inch, and my math is probably not correct, but let's just say I have a very large TV, plasma TV, and that fly was huge. Immediately as I saw it land on his white hair, the contrast, Crystal, it was crazy. Mary, what did you think about the special guest on the vice presidential debate?
I really didn't notice it either. I was watching it on my iPhone.
Thank you,
when I saw that it was like a big fly on his head, I was pretty shocked.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was definitely funny, but I feel like I was on FaceTime last night with my friend, and I was just like, she was just like talking about it. And she kept talking and talking about it. I'm like, girl, just get over it. It was a little fly. It was on his head. Like, get over it. And this is me coming at everybody else who keeps talking about it. But she was like, what did she say to me? She said, oh, that because I think sometimes she thinks I'm too like serious, which I don't know how she would think that, but yes, she thinks I'm too serious. So she was like, girl, just let the people have a little fun. Like, and which I guess it does make sense, right? But to me, I feel like that's the least of our worries. That's the least thing that we should be worried about. We should focus on bigger and more important things than a fly on someone's head. But I feel like that's things that happen in on TV, right? When you're live or you just don't feel it. It's like something I could have a fly right now, right? And I wouldn't know because I'm here just busy talking.
I wonder what the reaction would have been if the fly landed on Harris's head.
I don't think you would have been able to see it because she has dark hair.
That's true. I mean, I think you would have because you would have seen the little critter just like land on her head.
You are right.
But maybe her hair gel or hairspray was not as strong as Mike Pence's was. He must be using some type of special hair gel for that. He probably will not be wearing it again after this debate. I think a really funny thing, actually, before we move on to our next story, is there was another notable guest on stage, and it wasn't the fly that I'm talking about. It's the plexiglass. So actually, some background info about the plexiglass. So after Donald Trump was diagnosed with COVID-19, shortly after his first presidential debate against Democratic Joe Biden last week in Cleveland, Pence's team insisted that no, it's fine. We don't need any plexiglass. Like we're fine. Our team of scientists said I'm good. But Harris's team was like, no, I would like you to put the plexiglass there for extra precaution. And in my opinion, yes. So one of the authors, an AP News writer, said, for the most part, Pence and Harris directed their comments towards the moderator, Susan Page, and rather than each other's direction. And no, the plexiglass did not protect her from those insults and comments. So I thought that was really funny.
But I mean, I can't blame her. If she feels safer with the plexiglass, girl, you do what you have to do. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely. And they were 12 feet apart too. That works, right?
Yep. I will say that one thing that just caught my attention, and we can probably wrap up with this, is how the fact that they were sitting, but
yeah, why?
I'm not sure why they were. I was trying to find
why are they sitting?
I don't know. I was trying to find an article about kind of what was the reason. What was that? That Cardi moment. Okay.
Maybe the plexiglass wasn't tall enough. They couldn't have made one. They couldn't have made one 10 feet tall. Maybe there was it was a budget strain. On one of the biggest debates in our nation.
I guess that a budget strain. I just want our next theory.
No, but that's just honestly, guys. Stay tuned for the next presidential debate. We'll totally talk about it. And yeah, just and this is a PSA moment. Go vote. So let's go to the Sesame Street world, shall we? Yeah. Sesame Street tackles racism in a new TV special. The Sesame Workshop, the nonprofit educational organization behind Sesame Street, will later this month air the half-hour anti-racist special called The Power of We, hoping that families will watch this together. Children viewing the special will be taught how to stand up against racism during the national reckoning for racial equality. The special defines racism for younger views and shows how it could be hurtful. It urges students and children who can encounter racism or hear someone else be the victim of it to call it out. Gabrielle the Muppet, a 6-year-old the character on the show, said, quote, when you see something that's wrong, speak up and say that's wrong and tell an adult. In one animated skit, a black Muppet is told by a white Muppet he can't dress up like a superhero because it's a white character. Though hurt, the Black Muppet nevertheless refuses to stop playing superheroes, saying that they come in all colors. The White Muppet soon apologized, saying, quote, racism hurts and it's wrong, and that's the message. In a song, How Do You Know? Racism is dealt with head on. Tamir, a black 8-year-old Muppet, says to Elmo, hey Elmo, how would you feel if I said, I don't like you because I don't like the color red? Elmo responded, Elmo wouldn't care what you said because Elmo is proud to be read. It concludes with the lines, speak up, say something, and don't give in. Kay Wilson Stallings, Executive Vice President of Creative and Production at Sesame Workshop, said in a statement, quote, "We believe that this moment calls for a direct discussion about racism to help children grasp the issues and teach them that they are never too young to be upstanders for themselves, one another, and their communities." Current and former Sesame Street human cast members Alan, Charlie, Chris, and Gordon take part in this special alongside celebrity guests Yara Shahidi, if I mispronounced that, my bad, the star of Grownish, Hamilton star Christopher Jackson, and Grammy-nominated singer Andra Day. And I rise up. Viewers are offered tips to help their communities unite, including chalk drawings, making positive signs, and going to sing-alongs. When outside, all the puppets wear masks, even the letter puppets. The special concludes with the slogan, quote, listen, act, unite. Sesame Workshop has included online resources for parents to help guide conversations with their children about race, including talking, singing, and breathing together. And you can watch the special on October 15th on the PBS channel. Guys, Sesame Street has been killing it. They've talked about substance abuse and foster care. What do you guys think about this new special?
I absolutely love it. Like this, I am here for it. Where do I donate? No, I'm kidding.
I know. What do I do?
What do I do?
Who do I congratulate here?
Right? I feel like one of the highlights for me was Elmo's response to I don't like the color red, and he goes, Elmo wouldn't care what you said because Elmo is proud to be red.
Yeah, that touched my heart. Elmo, I love you.
I'm not for like corny stuff, but that is so like it's
that is some nice corny stuff.
Mary, what do you think? Did we stand for this?
Honestly, like when you were saying it, I got chills because it just brings me like so much joy that children's shows are like teaching kids now how the world works, and it makes me happy.
I absolutely 100% agree with you, Mary, because I am this is really going into my opinions, my personal but I am
not of those of the station.
I am a fair believer that no one, absolutely no one is born to a racist, right? You are not born disliking or hating someone else because of the way they look. Like when you're a child, you don't even think about those things. You just
children are colorblind.
Fun. You just do your own thing. So I at some point when
girl.
Yeah, right. And racism has always been around, right? But one time when I was just really getting into all these like politics and like all these other good stuff, I was like, what would be very important for individuals to you know why I said this? Because I started meeting people from like across the country and like events and conferences and stuff like that I used to attend, and you just realize how some students, and it's not necessarily their fault, but they are just, I don't want to say close-minded either, but they just grow up seeing one thing and believing one thing that it's like, wow, it's crazy. But because of that, this is like a plan. If I were to be president or something.
Vote Crystal for president 2040.
There you go, 2040. No, but seriously, I was like, there should be like a class. If this was such a big issue and you really care for it, I feel like there should be like some class and like for it to be like mandatory in elementary school where children are taught about acceptance and racism and how it's not okay. And I feel like this is why I feel like props to Sesame Street, because Sesame Street is something that has been like around for years, and just them being able to have direct access to students, to children in general. It's just like, I'm really happy that they're doing this thing, right? Like teach our youth that it's not okay to dislike someone based off of no reason, literally.
No, because based off their appearance. Yeah. It really makes me think like how far Sesame Street has come since the days that we've watched Sesame Street. Because I know for a fact that when I was watching Sesame Street, I was also actually hearing about like bullying, right? Oscar was being mean to the other characters, and I forgot, I'm not going to quote it because I don't remember the episode, but it's like they did tackle issues like bullying and stuff. But, in the beginning, especially like, and I don't know, I felt like they were very soft to touch up on things back in our day. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of more like entertainment, like, oh, what is Elmo doing today? Oh, what is, what is the Cookie Monster doing? How many cookies is he stealing? And like now we're hearing about foster care, substance abuse, racial inequality. These are issues that we're all facing in this nation that need to be talked about. Children need to be aware of it because, I have to say, like, and this is of my opinion only, I've been raised a certain way because of my privilege, because I'm a white female, right? When I see a special like this as a child, right? No matter what I'm being taught in the household, no matter what I'm seeing around me, it's important that this message is being spread, right? It's important that that it doesn't matter what race you're from, right? Doesn't matter. We're all equal, right? And children need to be taught that, and they need to be taught that they're worth it from the beginning. And I'm happy that it's starting with Sesame Street. But guys, where else would you like to see it? Where else are we not seeing in terms of like entertainment, where shows or movies are not talking about these issues that we would like to see them,
Yeah, I feel like our morning buzz producer Ryan, he really like just wrapped it up in a nice little sentence. He said it's super important to see this in children's shows because most popular media tend to promote racial and cultural stereotypes, which is 100% accurate, right? Like it's true what he says, right? And I feel like he really summed it up well, that yes, it's important because of everything else you see on the media, which it's okay to have that, I guess, right? Because it also exposes people to kind of dive a little bit more into the stereotypes, right? But it's also important to have the other side of it, like, hey, just because these are stereotypes doesn't mean it's okay. And Sesame Street just bringing up all these issues really, really makes me happy, brings joy to my heart. Wow, Kaya, I love this story. What a great way to start off my Thursday morning. But I will say that children are actually, it's true what you said, they grow up and they believe one thing. I feel like this is an example I always bring up, but my friend Francesca, when she was little, she grew up in Utah, and it was a very, I guess, predominant white community. And she tells me the story. She told me a story a couple years ago where basically she was at school and she was just playing with the kids, and one of the girls said to her, oh, I can't play with you because you're Mexican. Which, given the fact that she wasn't even Mexican, she was like Ecuadorian, right?
Oh my God.
I guess the little girl was just kind of making every Latino Mexican, which
generalizing, no.
So I just remember her telling me that story, right? And I was just, because I personally grew up in a predominant Hispanic community, so that never really happened to me, not from them anyway. But in terms of her growing up somewhere where there was predominantly white individuals, it was kind of like, damn, that sucked. Like, imagine someone telling you like, hey, I can't play with you because you're Mexican.
No, that's awful. And as a child, that literally scars you, right? It like beats down on your self-worth. You're like, oh my God, I can't help who I am. Like, what else do you want from me? So yeah, that really stinks. And that shouldn't be a thing now,
For sure.
That, and as Ryan said it's important that these issues are being taught in school, because with media and just what we're raised in our households, and the bias that come from parents or family members or whatnot, they need to be debunked, right? You need to know the whole truth, and you're not always going to get the whole truth from those closest to you, right? And for the matter, the politics now and the debate, my mom and her fiance, they were screaming, they're and saying their political views. And it's like, if you're around that, then you sort of start to like accept it in a way, you know what I mean? And this is something that we are all like bound to. And it's nice to know that when you go to school, a time where you spend most of your time in life in, and you're being taught the entire picture, right? That's what needs to be done now, right? So that we can all be an awesome, revolutionary, progressive generation doing great things. Watch out, big boys. We're coming.
And to wrap up this story, I just want to say that, again, this is a very big personal opinion, but I feel like we should all live by it, that racism is not a political thing. It's not. I'm
Nope.
always a huge believer in respecting people's thoughts and opinions because we're all entitled to one. But racism is not one. It's not whether you're independent, Republican, Democrat. It doesn't matter.
It's not
Racism,
a Republican. It's not a Democratic issue. It's a social issue. It's a human rights issue.
period.
Period. PSA for the morning.
But with that being said, let's move on to our next story. And
Okay.
and we brought it up a little bit closer to you right here in Montclair, Cuban Pete's restaurant. I'm sure many of you have heard of it because I have heard of it, and I've been meaning to. I've in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm gonna go, but I haven't had a chance to go. But basically, Cuban Pete's owner Dominic Ristiano says he'll continue to allow indoor dining despite receiving citations for not following COVID-19 guidelines imposed by the governor. Restaino told NorthJersey.com that he is willing to go to jail if need be, but he will ultimately not cave. On October 3rd, he was issued a third violation for exceeding the 25% capacity limit on indoor dining, he said. He's defying the order simply because he can't make money when his dining room is limited but fully staffed. He says he has a total of 48 employees. He said, quote, if you want to do it right, you need a full staff. It's impossible to do. The governor has no idea how to run a restaurant. The Montclair Police Department told NorthJersey.com that members of Montclair Health Department and Montclair Police had gone to Cuban Pete's on October 3rd after receiving that the restaurant indeed had two men inside. Overall, Restiano says, hey, this is a free country and he would do what was best for him and his business. And added that he knows exactly who called the police on him, which I think is kind of funny. A female diner who told him that she didn't feel safe. Quote, you shouldn't be out if you're worried about getting the virus, end quote, he said to her. And honestly, he's not wrong, right? In terms of like, if you shouldn't really be out if you're scared, right? But not me saying that I condone this behavior, because I feel that if he starts doing that and other people see that the police department or like the governor himself isn't like going down on him, like in terms of like holding him responsible for his actions, it's kind of like other people are going to start doing this, and you know what I mean. And it is a very popular restaurant. What do you guys have you ladies ever been?
I haven't personally been to Cuban Pete's. I've heard so much about it.
Mm-hmm.
All I heard about it was that the Jersey Shore ate there once, and that's why everyone's going. But the food is not as great; it's mediocre. That's Ryan's making facial expressions at me. What's going on, Ryan?
I just want to say I love Cuban Pete's.
Oh, that's why. I thought you were agreeing with me. I thought you were like, "That's right, Kaya."
Oh,
no,
nah, dude, Cuban Pete's is awesome.
That's what I heard.
That's my personal opinion.
We had to get our morning bus producer on this.
They are here in Montclair. It's heartbreaking to see this though.
Listen, I hope it was one of the staff members that called on him.
It was actually
what I was hoping, that it was one of the staff members that's like, this is not right. I'm going to call the police right now.
I just want to say that, my opinion, you don't need 48 employees. And I know that if he were to cut down his staff, obviously that would result in layoffs. But I'm health over anything, right? You have to be safe. And I don't understand why I do understand, but why would people go to a restaurant that aren't following guidelines?
Oh, that actually reminds me. Did we talk about this? No. I actually saw this on Facebook. We were talking about in the ethics of mass communication class, and there was a pizza owner, and he did not require any of his staff to wear masks. He didn't wear a mask. And people were literally bashing on him on Facebook and being like, I don't feel safe, and taking pictures and exposing. And people that are loyal to the restaurant were like, no, don't post this. Like, don't. Like, he's a great guy. He has kids and stuff. But you're going to see restaurant owners that just don't care because they want to keep their businesses alive, and they're putting their business and money in front of public health. And I say this as my own opinion, not of the station. But this is insane to me. Like, you're in a busy town with a bunch of people, and I could tell you that these people are wearing masks and sacrificing and going through an extensive morning routine to make sure that they're being safe and carrying loads of hand sanitizer, you know. And it's like, what is, like, how could you know what I mean? Like, you're a community member, right? You're serving the town, and this is what you're doing. Like, dude, like, you need to be canceled.
Imagine he actually ends up going to jail. Mary, do you think it's actually going to happen? He was going to be arrested.
I don't think he's going to end up in jail. I think he should, adhere to the guidelines, because he says that it's impossible that to not work with a full staff, but every other restaurant is doing it. And the only way to, like, get through this whole virus is to work together. And if people aren't, following the guidelines, then we're not going to see any results.
Okay, Mary.
There is right, Mary. Girl, you need to contribute more on these stories. We need to hear you more, because you got some valid points, girl.
I was like, yes.
And I was like, ooh, Mary. But I hope he gets a hefty fine. I hope he gets a hefty fine that really makes him reconsider, well, is it worth risking public health for profit, when you're going to get a hefty fine that's just going to take all that away and just, leave you in a place where you're going to have to pay that off for some time. You know what I mean? And where there's probably going to be no profit.
Right.
It's like, you have to, it's not about you. You know what I mean? That's where it comes to. And I feel like a lot of people are being selfish right now, especially and this is me preaching, and I'm going to stop in a second because nobody wants to hear it. But it's like, I walk in the streets of New York City and people are not wearing their masks because they're like, oh, I'm not outside. I don't have to wear masks. It's fine. And I see this and it's like, I'm wearing my mask. I'm wearing my N95 mask for a reason, And it's like, and along with many other people, and the majority of people are actually following, and they care about this virus, and like, geez, our president just got the virus, and you know what I mean? Like, that should set a good example that if you don't take it seriously, you will get it, But the common misconception is that when you're outside, you don't have to wear a mask, but it is recommended. Thank you.
Kaya's over here saying it's highly recommended.
Highly.
But I just want to say that the 48 employees and him not being able to run his business it's a lie. It's a lie, because as I feel like my mom has never owned a restaurant, but she has owned businesses, and you can make
cool.
You can make it work with one person if you're really committed to it. And obviously it's probably not ideal. The people who go to the restaurant won't have the full Cuban pizza experience, but like Kaya said, it's all about compromising, and we're all making sacrifices here, and so it is what it is.
That's all it comes to.
But yes, Kaya.
No, I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah, I'm just agreeing with you. We're in alliance here, girl. This is not right.
Like, good when we are.
Good story. Definitely, it's very therapeutic. I get to put all of my negative feelings towards this one person. I'm kidding.
But with that being said, on our last story, TikTok user Nathan. I love this story, by the way, so I just had to bring it on. TikTok user Nathan Apolacas, who is better known as 420 Dogface208, was surprised earlier this week by the CEO of Ocean Spray. Apodaca has gained a huge following because of his TikTok videos that mainly consist of him simply dancing. After a video of him vibing on a skateboard while listening to the song Dreams by the Fleetwood Mac and drinking some Ocean Spray juice went viral, Ocean Spray decided to pay him a visit and gift him a brand new pickup truck with a lot of cranberry juice in the back. The pickup truck had a sign that read, "Dear Nathan, good vibes only. Much love, Ocean Spray." The video has been viewed over 28 million times on TikTok and has received over 5 million likes. Would you look at that?
A sponsorship. Nice. That's
Imagine just doing your own thing on your skateboard, and you get a pickup truck. Where do I sign up?
I know. Like, how many TikTok videos do I have to make to get this? Like, I'll do it. That's fine.
Right. And it's crazy because TikTok is really making people like, I don't know, say famous, but like just kind of blow up. You know,
Oh
he has
yeah.
1.5 million followers on Instagram, which I thought was quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the millions, not even in the thousand. But the last thing I just want to say is that Mick Fleetwood from, of course, Fleetwood Mac recreated the video and tagged Nathan. So he's not only getting presents, he's getting followers. He is just getting recognition by everyone. I will say, if the video was kind of entertaining and it was kind of funny because you see this man you never expected.
Right. And going on the point that you were saying that these TikTok stars are literally doing so many awesome opportunities and things right now, it helps them tap, tap, tap into, I'm referring to a TikTok song, into so many industries right now, right? Like with Addison Rae and her podcast on Spotify, right? So many great things, and we had such a great lineup of stories for today. Thank you for wrapping up with such a really interesting and a hopeful story that possibly, if you have a TikTok account and actually commit to it, you may or may not get a pickup truck in the sponsorships. That's a nice thing to look at. But thank you guys so much for tuning in for the entire hour with us. We had so many great things to talk about. We definitely had a mixed bag, a little bit of seriousness, but a little bit of interesting and hopeful stuff at the end. For more on the Morning Buzz, you can always tune in tomorrow for George and Leslie's show. And you can go to our YouTube channel, 93 WMSC, and watch our video recorded episode. So you can look at our facial expressions and, yeah, see how we laugh at ourselves. And I think that'd be quite interesting. So thanks for tuning in to WMSC Upper Montclair, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Happy Thursday.